everyone, and welcome back to Creighton Farms. Today we're going to be building planter boxes. You can see here, this is the style that we're going to build. They are 2 feet tall and these are raised beds. We're going to show you 2 types because we have 2 different types. This one, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, it takes a ton of dirt. I'm going to show you a trick where you're not filling this entire box with dirt. And then I'll show you a shorter style raised bed that you would like to do possibly in your backyard to help you get to growing food to feed your family. Now, we have 5 already done. Our goal for this year was to get 5 more, but because we want to plant so much food right now to try to feed a large family, we are going to be putting other areas in other garden plots in this year and not just raised beds. So you saw a previous video. I'll tag that below to show you how you can also put a garden spot on a place of dirt that's never been gardened before. And I'm going to show you also how we're planting some other things in some areas that our chickens have been helping us clear. So stay tuned. I can't wait for you all to see how we get this planter box built today.
So what I'll do, I'll cook it off forward.
So to get started, one of the first things you're going to need is some type of corner post. Now we are using a cedar tree that we cut down. We cut it into 2-foot long sections, and these are going to be the corner posts. If you were using something like, if you were building this out of 2x6s or 2x4s, you could use a 4x4 post in your corners and cut it to length, and then you would just attach your decking boards or your 2x4s or 2x6s or whatever you had around it. We were given this metal, and it's what we have used on all of our other beds. We were given it, so we're not purchasing anything, doing this as cheap as we can. So we're going to be attaching the metal to our post with some screws, and we'll show you how we get this all put together. Our beds are 4x8, so this is one 4-foot section end piece already done. Now we'll go around and start attaching the sides to this. So in just a couple of minutes, the entire box is together. Now what we're going to have to do is level the ground so that the box will be level when we go to planting it. Now if you're thinking this box is huge and there's no way you could fill this thing up with dirt, do not be intimidated. We're not filling this entire thing with dirt, I promise. And if you don't have a space big enough for this and you think something this large, and it's going to be 2 feet tall, this tall is something you just can't do, stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to show you something that is so much easier. Well, not easier, it takes about the same amount of time. We're going to show you something that is much smaller in scale, that is easier to do in a backyard, like if you live in the city and you just need a small area to be able to garden right now. What do you like to eat that we grow in the garden?
The lettuce.
Lettuce? What else? Oh, I know something you like. Yeah. You gotta move some dirt. Yay. Now that the bed is level and completely built, this is the part that I think is so much fun, and what we're gonna be doing is filling it. Now, the method that we're using to fill our raised beds is called a hugelkultur. And what that is you take, you can take big logs, you can take piles of sticks, and then you cover them with organic material and dirt, and you plant on top. And the purpose of this is so that you hold, it helps to hold moisture in the soil, because the logs and limbs and sticks that you pack in the bottom can hold 10 times their weight in water. So during the summer, that's really important, because if you have a really dry summer and this bed gets a good soaking, those logs are going to help hold water in that soil, so those roots can keep going down and feeding off of those in times where you have periods of drought. Now, the other good thing is that over time, all of that stuff is going to, all of the logs and twigs and other organic material that you put in these raised beds is going to break down over time, so it's just going to keep enriching your soil. So you'll see in a little bit, we are going to, after we fill up with sticks and logs in the bottom, we're going to top it with a layer of cow manure. We're just going to run to the pasture and grab that, and then we will also then top that with like dried leaves before we put our dirt, and then compost on the top of that, and then the bed will be ready to plant. So you got a little bit of work to do. So this is what our box looks like filled with these big logs. Now we are getting ready to top it with manure from our cow. Now, if you were doing this and you didn't have sticks and you didn't have manure and you didn't have those things to make a hugelkultur, you could fill this with dirt. It's just a lot of dirt, but you could definitely go ahead and do that. We are just doing this because for the long term, this is what we want in these beds, but you could most certainly fill it up with dirt. So this is another style of raised bed planter box that you can build. This one we just recently pulled up because we were replacing it with our larger beds. But this worked for us for many years. We have planted everything from carrots and potatoes and beans and squash and beets, and we've just planted so much stuff in these beds. But this is simply just a non-treated 2x6, and we screwed 4 of them together. That was it. It would be more sturdy and a little bit more permanent if you went here in the corner and just put like a 4x4 to screw it to. But it was what we had on hand at the time, and you can see they weren't treated because you can see where they're breaking down over time. Hey, Chickie. But these will work. This is a great option if you're just looking for something really quick to do in your backyard. You can do this, I mean, a couple of hours. You could have several of these built. Fill them with some good dirt, and you're ready to start planting your garden. I don't want you to get caught up in how we made these or what we used. We used metal and we used these cedar trees because it's what we had. We are looking to not spend a ton of money, but still being able to provide food for our family. So think about some things that you might already have, and there are some really cheap options too. You could go with cinder blocks. They hold heat really well. You could stack them up. You can make them short, you can make them tall, and you can make a bed out of those and then fill that with dirt. And don't forget, you don't have to make it really tall like this either. Being just even 6 inches off the ground is still a raised bed. You're still getting your dirt deep, and so you're still getting the benefits of a raised bed even if it's small. Now you might be wondering, why do we want to use a raised bed? Well, there's several benefits. The soil can warm up much faster. You don't have as much trouble with drainage as you would from your regular garden. It's also easier, and I think you can plant more food in a raised bed than you can going down rows and worrying with row spacing. Also, your soil stays so much, it's broken up so much, you don't have it getting compacted like you would if you had rows, because you're not walking over it. And you're also not wasting water by watering a walkway as opposed to your entire bed. When I water, everything in this bed is getting water that needs water. Weeds aren't nearly as much of a problem in a raised bed because there's so much soil packed in here and because of the distance you are off of the ground. So weeds aren't as big of a problem. Watering is much more effective. Your soil warms up, which means that you can plant earlier in a raised bed, and you can extend your growing season to where you are able to plant food for longer also. So those are a few benefits of using a raised bed and why we are using them. And I think it's gonna be really important right now for people to be able to get food in the ground early, and also to prolong your season of growing so that you are able to grow well into fall. So that's one reason I love using my raised beds. Now, we are going to be growing some other things. You saw the other bed that we did last weekend. And we're going to be planting some tomatoes and things in another way. So just keep an eye out for those videos coming. We will show you some other ways that we are planting this year. Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope you saw how easy it was to put this raised garden bed together so that we're going to be able to plant lots of food in this. This is a 4x8. That gives me 32 square feet. If I'm doing square foot gardening, I can plant a ton of food for my family in this bed. Don't forget to stay tuned to our next videos. Give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and you're going to want to turn on notifications because we're going to be posting tons of gardening videos right now. Now is the time to get your plants in the ground and to get ready for a harvest that you can enjoy early summer. So our next video is going to be of us planting this bed, and we've got another bed we're going to be planting also. I'm going to show you how we do that. Leave a comment below. Do you want to learn more about square foot gardening? Do you already know about it? Or another thing that we do a lot of is companion planting. And the reason we use companion planting is because we do not spray any pesticides or anything on our food or our plants. So if you want to learn more about companion planting or square foot gardening, leave us a comment below. Let me know what you're looking for. What can we help you learn so that you can grow more food for your family this year? Thanks for joining us. We're Cram Farms, and we'll see you next time.